Hello, this is Barbara Kolm again. I have the pleasure and privilege to have Carlos Gebauer here with me. Thank you, Carlos, for joining. Carlos is the deputy chairman of the German Hayek Society, and he has a law firm in Germany, in Düsseldorf and Lindau. He has been a lawyer on TV and has been negotiating and judging and working there and defending freedom forever in this role. Very popular, I think, not only my generation, but the generation of the next generation, more younger people know that and see this TV show, which is kind of an early evening show. First of all, is it still up and running? And second, for how long have you done that?
I only did this for about 6 or 7 years, really on TV. It's always being repeated on TV since 2002. So there's a whole generation risen up these days who has never seen anything else than me on TV. And if sometimes I meet people at court who have seen me now for 22 years on the screen, they look at me and they say, "You are getting old there as well."
But the defense of freedom is never getting old. It's never out of fashion. And this year we are celebrating Hayek's 80th anniversary of the road to serfdom. So what special events does the German Hayek Society do in order to celebrate this big anniversary?
The Hayek Society, of course, has their so-called Hayek Days, which we are here today assembled, and we are proud to have a very famous guest this year, which will be the president of Argentina, Javier Milei, and he is receiving the Hayek Medal for his efforts to free Argentina and to somehow get a better situation for the people in Argentina. And what I have especially done this year was that I wrote a very small, tiny little book about the road to serfdom, just to give an update 80 years after the book was published first. And I hope a lot of people will read it and have an impact to look at the original and to again read the wonderful thoughts of Hayek out of 1944, because it was really very bright and wide looking into the future, definitely.
Well, I was just going to ask about this publication. So what do you think makes the difference these days that Hayek could not foresee in his defense of freedom and against central planning, against these authorities, against war management and war economies? Is there a difference at all? I mean, we have geopolitical situations that are very difficult after all. Did you argue for those, or did you use those arguments in your current book as well? Or did you use a different angle? And if so, which one did you use?
If you try to summarize a book someone else has written,
we have time.
You always have to restrain from the temptation to write another book or a known book on something. I'm just putting together what he said, and if you now ask me what is the core problem of today, which Hayek could not foresee in 1944, I would of course look at digitalization, because nobody had an idea in 1944 about what was coming up with the communication media and the techniques of information around the globe in this short time. And even I think it's not the first look should not be what Hayek was thinking, but the first look is what the enemies of freedom are thinking about the digitalization, because I think they tend to think that they have solved the information problem. The communist approach is that we have an information problem, and now they tend to think that they have that digitalization and artificial intelligence, AI as well, and they think out of the AI and digitalization all around the globe, they can solve the information problem. But I am completely convinced that they do not have solved the problem, because what we are doing as humans is, to my mind, in the end, rooted in my emotions. What I'm buying, what I'm doing, what I'm feeling comes out of my emotion and not out of my brain. My brain is only something that helps my emotions. And so this is, I think, an Austrian approach, and you cannot have an information technique, even with the brightest AI machines, that could solve these problems and help foreseeing them.
And despite the fact Hayek always argued there is no such thing as full information.
Definitely not.
And another thing he also, which is another anniversary this year, his receiving the Nobel Prize in Economics. It's 50 years, and his famous talk there, he warned us to be humble and not to assume that we know everything. So he was also very much into this direction, giving us the idea that we have to take a step back, look and analyze the things, and not assume that even with modern technology, we are not absolute, we don't have absolute knowledge.
Now, if I might add this, speaking as a lawyer, it is impossible to foresee the future, even if you have the brightest and wonderful and most expensive AI technique. What you have is a model, and a model is 99.9% wrong. It's just an approach.
As we saw with the ECB modeling inflation, for example.
As we see with money modeling, as we see with climate modeling, as we see with health modeling concerning the corona fiasco, and all these things. So AI and digitalization and modeling does not give us an idea of how the world will look tomorrow and of how it will look next year or in 5 years. And speaking as a lawyer, as I said, it is very, very dangerous to think that you can base government's decisions and legal decisions on facts that are only modeled, but are not real facts. If we do so, this is not legitimate legislative action. That's my point.
Well, thank you very much for pointing this out, because Hayek himself was also a legal scholar. He has studied law, but I would like to come back to The Road to Serfdom once more. He dedicated this famous book to the socialists in all parties. And we have seen a socialist uprise across Europe. Our individual rights, our individual freedoms were treated as if they don't have any value at all. So what can we do? What would be the learnings if we look at this dedication?
What we learn from Hayek, especially from The Road to Serfdom, is in the first place that socialists and liberals, classical liberals in the sense of European wording, do not have different aims. They have one and the same aim, and this is to make people having good living. And without aggressions, without fear, having enough food, having it warm, and all this stuff. It's only dissenting in the means how we will get these aims to be realized. And today, socialism seems to be so attractive again because the situation is very, very dark in a lot of dimensions. We have very, very much anxiousness between people. They are depressed, they don't know what to do. And this is, in the history, always a moment when socialistic ideas come up, because socialism tends to have the potential to make people safe and to solve their life's problems without any effort they have to make themselves.
From the cradle to the grave.
Yes. Earlier, from the moment someone thinks that he should have children in this world, they are planning right everything. From the bottom we stand on until up into the atmosphere where the climate takes place. And people are anxious and try to find their security in socialist ideas, and they do not see, in vast majorities these days, they do not see that this is another problem for their own living again. And if you read the text, for example, of Frédéric Bastiat, this is what he has foreseen. This is what he told us. If you build a state to have your security and all your problems saved by a state, then this state is going to be your own enemy again. And this is one more reason, by the way, why we think that it's a good idea to give the Hayek medal to Javier Milei, because in his very special way he says he hates the state, which is not a hate in the clear meaning as I would understand hate as an emotion. He's a media specialist. He puts it on a tipping point, so to say. But I think what Milei wants to tell us is that if I have a state that solves all the problems of people, then people are no longer people. People are no longer men.
They are not individuals.
They are not individuals. They are diminualized into being animals. Puppets, or even chicken. I mean, this is you have a chip and you're running around like cattle, and so what we have to do is again to bring the light, to enlighten people, and to always teach the idea of freedom as the core of life worth living.
Well, and this is something what the German Hayek Gesellschaft really does in an excellent way, looking at the young generation, at the next generation, educating them, training them. So what programs do you run there?
We have our programs for young people. I'm going to teach in a seminar how to speak, how to listen. The technique of listening is not very well lived and worked out these days. First you have to listen, and after you have listened you can begin to understand, and after listening and after understanding you can begin to speak. This should be the way. And so we'll have in this year again our so-called Forum Freiheit, a forum for liberty and for ideas, bringing people together. Today we have about nearly 300 people together who are having their networks and speaking and bringing good ideas to people. My own homepage is away from Hayek for 20 years now. Make love, not law.
Thank you. This is an excellent closing. So we've seen we will see the website, your personal website, Carlos. Please stay informed, stay tuned, and join us for all the next discussions. And I really do hope, Carlos, that you will join us for the Free Market Roadshow next year as a speaker. We were talking about that for so many years. We finally need to nail this down.
We have to do this, Barbara. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.